I never thought I'd be the guy writing one of these posts, but here I am at 28, trying to make sense of what just happened to my life. Until 2 weeks ago, I believed I was going to marry my soulmate, Maya. We'd been together for 4 incredible years, and I genuinely thought we had it all figured out. Now I'm sitting in an empty apartment, wondering how I missed all the warning signs. Maya and I first crossed paths at a friend's housewarming party. She was this brilliant, witty marketing coordinator with an infectious laugh and this amazing ability to cut through nonsense with surgical precision. I'd had my share of relationships before, but nobody had ever clicked with me the way she did. We were inseparable from day one, and after 18 months of pure bliss, we decided to move in together. Everything felt effortless. We were both career-driven. She handled digital campaigns for small businesses while I managed software development projects, so we understood each other's ambitions. Our life wasn't flashy, but it was ours. We'd spend weekends exploring farmers markets, binge-watching crime documentaries, and planning this beautiful future together. Before we continue with today's story, if you're enjoying what you've heard so far, please hit that subscribe button. Every new subscriber helps me keep sharing these inspiring tales that touch your day. Thank you for your support. The proposal happened on a crisp October evening last year. Nothing elaborate, just the two of us, takeout from our favorite Thai place, and a ring I'd been hiding for months. When I got down on one knee in our tiny living room, Maya burst into tears and said yes before I could even finish my speech. That night, we stayed up until dawn talking about our wedding. A spring ceremony, intimate gathering, maybe somewhere in the mountains we both loved so much. For the first few months, Maya was completely consumed with wedding planning. She created elaborate mood boards, researched photographers obsessively, and would text me pictures of different floral arrangements, asking which ones made my heart sing. But then, almost overnight, the enthusiasm evaporated. When I'd bring up the guest list, she'd wave me off with "we have plenty of time." Questions about her dress were met with shrugs, and "I haven't really looked yet." Every conversation about our big day seemed to drain the energy right out of her. I convinced myself it was just pre-wedding jitters mixed with work stress. Maya had landed a huge client around that time, and I figured she was just overwhelmed. Looking back, I should have recognized that her disinterest wasn't about wedding planning at all. It was about us. The moment everything shifted happened during a dinner party at our friends Jake and Lisa's place. Someone suggested we play one of those viral social media games where you answer personal questions without filtering your thoughts. Everyone was laughing and giving ridiculous answers until someone asked the killer question. If you could go back and relive any past relationship, which one would you choose? Without a moment's hesitation, Maya said, "Definitely Marcus." Marcus, her college boyfriend. The same Marcus who had shattered her heart by cheating with her former roommate. The room went dead silent. You could practically hear everyone's internal record scratch. Maya immediately tried to backpedal, laughing nervously and saying, "I mean, not because I'd want to be with him again. It's just, it was such a formative time, you know." I wanted to call her out right there, but we were surrounded by friends, so I swallowed my confusion and tried to play it off. Later that night, when we were alone in our car, I finally asked her about it. What was that about Marcus? Why would you want to relive that disaster? She brushed it off like I was being ridiculous. "Come on, Ethan, it was just a stupid game. Don't read into it." She reached over and squeezed my hand, flashing that smile that usually melted my defenses. "You're the one I'm marrying, remember?" I let it slide because I didn't want to create drama over what might have been nothing. But that seed of doubt, it took root and started growing. After that night, Maya's behavior became impossible to ignore. She was constantly glued to her phone, typing messages with this secretive little smile that made my stomach churn. Plans started getting canceled at the last minute. "Sorry, babe, client emergency," or "my mom needs help with something tonight." The excuses weren't necessarily suspicious on their own, but they kept piling up. She'd disappear into the bathroom for 20-minute showers with her phone. She started working late more often, even though her biggest project had supposedly wrapped up. When I'd suggest we spend time together, she'd look almost annoyed, like I was interrupting something important. The breaking point came on a Thursday evening in late November. I'd left work early, excited to surprise Maya with dinner from that new Mediterranean place she'd been wanting to try. When I walked through our front door, something felt off immediately. Maya was on the couch with her laptop, but she wasn't working. She was just staring at the screen with this distant, almost guilty expression. When she heard me come in, she slammed the laptop shut like she'd been caught doing something wrong. "You're home early," she said, and it sounded almost accusatory. I set the food down and tried to keep things light. "Thought we could have a nice dinner together. How was your day?" Usually, Maya would fill me in on her client calls or share some funny story from her day. Tonight, she just shrugged and said, "Fine." The silence stretched between us like a chasm. Finally, I couldn't take it anymore. "Maya, what's going on? You've been acting strange for weeks." She closed her eyes and took this deep, shaky breath. "Actually, there's something I need to tell you." My heart started hammering against my ribs. You know that feeling when you sense disaster approaching but you're powerless to stop it? That was me, standing in our kitchen with takeout containers and a growing sense of dread. "I've been thinking about us," Maya began, not meeting my eyes. "And about Marcus." I almost laughed, not because it was funny, but because the absurdity of it all was overwhelming. "Marcus? Are you serious right now?" She bit her lip and finally looked at me. "I need some time to figure things out. I want to take a break and see if there's still something between Marcus and me." The words hit me like a physical blow. "You want to take a break to date your ex-boyfriend?" "Maya, we're engaged. We're supposed to get married in 6 months." "It's not like that," she said quickly, like she could somehow make this sound reasonable. "I just need to know if I'm making the right choice. If things don't work out with Marcus, I'll come back to you. I promise." That's when it hit me, the sheer audacity of what she was asking. She expected me to sit around like some kind of consolation prize while she test drove her ex-boyfriend. She wanted me to be her backup plan. Something cold and clear settled over me in that moment. I didn't yell or throw things or beg her to reconsider. I just looked at her, really looked at her, and saw a stranger. "So let me get this straight," I said, my voice eerily calm. "You want to go explore things with Marcus, but I should just wait here patiently while you decide if I'm good enough?" She had the nerve to look frustrated with me. "It's not about you not being good enough, Ethan. This is about me needing to be sure before we make a lifetime commitment. After 4 years together, you're still not sure about me?" "That's not what I'm saying." "That's exactly what you're saying." I sat down across from her, still feeling strangely detached. "You know what? Fine. Take your break." She blinked, clearly expecting more of a fight. "Ethan, I'm not trying to hurt you. I just need some space to figure out what I really want." I nodded slowly. "And what makes you think I'll be here when you've finished figuring things out?" For the first time, she looked uncertain. What do you mean?" "I mean, you're not the only one who gets to make choices here, Maya. If you want space to explore other options, then I guess I'm free to do the same." She packed a bag that night and went to stay with her sister, probably thinking she'd left me there to pine away while she played out her little fantasy. She had no idea that the moment she walked out that door, I'd already started planning my exit strategy. The first person I called was my buddy Ryan. We'd been friends since our freshman year of college, and he's never been one to sugarcoat things. After I told him the whole story, he came over with beer and Chinese food, and we spent the entire night strategizing. "You realize she's going to try to come crawling back when things blow up with Marcus, right?" Ryan said around a mouthful of lo mein. He was absolutely right. The more we talked, the clearer it became that I needed to take control of the situation instead of just reacting to it. This wasn't about revenge, it was about self-respect. I started with the apartment. Maya always talked about our place and our home, but the lease was entirely in my name. I'd been covering the rent while she contributed to groceries and utilities. Monday morning, I called the landlord and gave my 30-day notice. The timing was perfect. My lease was up for renewal anyway. Next, I systematically removed every trace of Maya from my life. Those inspirational wall decals she'd insisted on hanging up? Gone. The collection of decorative pillows that served no functional purpose? Donated to charity. All her clothes and personal items that she'd left behind got carefully packed up and delivered to her sister's apartment by a moving service, along with a simple note. "Here are your belongings. Good luck with Marcus." I know some people might think that was petty, but I disagree. I was being efficient. She wanted space to think things through. Well, now she had all the space she could want. When mutual friends started asking questions, I kept my responses simple and factual. Maya decided she needed to explore things with her ex-boyfriend before committing to marriage. I decided I deserved better than being someone's second choice. It's amazing how quickly the narrative changes when you stick to the truth instead of trying to spin it. I've been considering a job opportunity in Seattle for months, a senior developer position at a growing startup that offered equity and the chance to work on some really innovative projects. With my personal life imploding, it seemed like the perfect time to make that leap. I updated my resume, reached out to my contact at the company, and within a week, I had a video interview scheduled. The conversation went incredibly well, and they fast-tracked me through their process. Maya tried reaching out several times during this period. It started with casual texts like, "How are you holding up?" and escalated to increasingly frantic messages when she realized I wasn't just sitting around waiting for her to come back. When she found out about the moving boxes being delivered, she completely lost it. "What are you doing? Why are you acting like this is over?" she texted me. My response was simple. "Because it is over, Maya. You made your choice, and now I'm making mine." She called me crying, saying she just needed time to work through her feelings, that I was being too hasty, that this wasn't what she meant when she asked for a break. "What exactly did you expect?" I asked her. "That I'd sit here like a loyal dog while you figured out if your ex was better than me? That's not how this works. But what if I realize you're the one I want? Then you'll have learned an important lesson about not taking people for granted," I said before hanging up. The strangest thing was how liberated I felt. Instead of being consumed by anger or hurt, I felt like I was finally waking up from a dream that had turned into a nightmare. Every box I packed, every step I took toward my new life, felt like reclaiming pieces of myself I hadn't even realized I'd given up. Ryan came over to help me pack my apartment, and he noticed the change in me immediately. "You seem different, man. More focused." He was right. When Maya first told me she wanted to explore things with Marcus, I felt like my world was crashing down. Now I realized it wasn't my world that was falling apart. It was the illusion I'd been living in that was finally crumbling. I got the Seattle job. The offer was even better than I'd hoped. Significant salary increase, stock options, and the chance to work with cutting-edge technology. The timing couldn't have been more perfect. Through our circle of friends, I learned that Maya's grand romantic reunion wasn't quite the fairy tale she'd imagined. Apparently, for years hadn't changed Marcus much. He was still the same unreliable guy who had cheated on her in college. Maya had been trying to control the narrative on social media, posting vague inspirational quotes about finding yourself and following your heart. So I decided to share some news of my own. I posted a single, straightforward update, excited to announce I've accepted a position with a tech startup in Seattle. Sometimes when one door closes, better ones open. Looking forward to this new chapter. The comments and private messages started pouring in immediately. People congratulated me, asked about the move, and of course, wondered about Maya. I kept my responses honest and brief. "We're no longer together." She wanted to explore other options, so I'm exploring mine. This created a ripple effect through our social circle. While Maya was posting cryptic relationship quotes, people could see me handling the situation with dignity and moving forward with my life. The contrast was stark. Maya's freelance marketing business depended heavily on referrals and word of mouth. One of our mutual contacts, Jessica, who worked for a digital agency, reached out to me over coffee. "I need to understand what happened," Jessica said. "Maya's telling people you two are taking a temporary break to grow as individuals, but something doesn't add up." I told Jessica the truth about Maya wanting to date Marcus. The look on her face said everything. By the end of the week, several potential clients had postponed their projects with Maya. Not because I badmouthed her, but because honestly, who wants to work with someone who treats commitment so casually? Maya sensed the shift. Her texts became more frequent and desperate. "Why are you telling people about Marcus? You're destroying my reputation. This isn't fair. I just needed some time to figure things out." I responded simply, "You got what you wanted, time and space. How I choose to spend mine is no longer your concern." Then came the moment that vindicated everything I'd been feeling. Marcus, in his infinite wisdom, posted a photo of him and Maya at Rosario's, the same Italian restaurant where Maya and I had our first official date. She was clearly trying to recreate our early memories with him. The post didn't stay up long, but the damage was done. Our friends saw it, and the last few people who had been defending Maya's soul-searching journey lost all sympathy for her. Even Maya's own sister reached out to me. "I'm so sorry about how she's handling this. You deserve so much better." Maya showed up at my office the following Tuesday. Marcus had apparently already shown his true colors again, flirting with other women, being unreliable, the same old pattern. She was a mess, crying and practically begging. I made a horrible mistake, she sobbed. I was terrified of commitment. I thought maybe there was something better out there, but I was wrong. You're the best thing that ever happened to me. I looked at her calmly and felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just a strange kind of peace. No, Maya. The best thing that ever happened to me was you showing me who you really are before we got married. She tried to argue, saying we could work through this, that she'd go to therapy, that she'd prove she could be trusted again. I shook my head. You still don't understand, do you? This isn't about Marcus anymore. This is about you thinking you could keep me as a backup plan while you shopped around for something better. That's not love. That's convenience. She left my office devastated, but I felt better than I had in months. My last day at work was bittersweet. I'd made some great friends and learned a lot, but I was excited about the future. Several colleagues threw me a farewell happy hour, and the support was overwhelming. Seattle's lucky to get you, my boss said. Don't be a stranger. I finished packing my apartment that weekend. Most of my furniture was getting donated or sold. I wanted to start fresh in Seattle. The whole process felt symbolic, like I was shedding an old skin. Maya made one last desperate attempt to contact me. She sent a long email asking for photos from our shared cloud storage, pictures from our trips together, holidays with family, all those memories we'd created over 4 years. I'd already downloaded the photos I wanted and canceled the shared account weeks earlier. Her email ended with, I know you're trying to erase me from your life, but you can't just delete 4 years of memories. What we had was real. My response was brief. You're right. Those 4 years taught me exactly what I don't want in a partner. Thanks for the lesson. Some mutual friends think I'm being too harsh, that everyone makes mistakes, and I should be more understanding of Maya's moment of confusion. But this wasn't a moment. It was a calculated decision to keep me as her safety net while she pursued what she thought might be a better option. Here's what I learned from all of this. Sometimes the worst thing that happens to you leads to the best outcome. If Maya hadn't revealed her true character, I might have married her and discovered who she really was years later, possibly with kids involved. Instead, I'm in an amazing city with an incredible job opportunity, making new friends, and feeling optimistic about the future. The pain of betrayal has been replaced by gratitude for the bullet I dodged. It's been 3 months since I moved to Seattle, and I can honestly say this is the best decision I've ever made. My apartment has an incredible view of Elliott Bay, and the tech scene here is everything I hoped it would be. My new team is brilliant, innovative, and completely drama-free. The startup culture here is infectious. We're working on some groundbreaking projects that could revolutionize how small businesses handle their digital presence. It's the kind of work that gets you excited to jump out of bed in the morning. I've joined a local hiking club, started taking photography classes, and even adopted a rescue dog named Scout. He's a golden retriever mix with more personality than my ex-fiancée ever had. Last week, I was invited to speak at a developer conference about scalable web architecture, something that never would have happened if I'd stayed in my comfort zone back home. It's incredible what you can accomplish when you're not carrying dead weight. Maya sent me one final message through a mutual friend. She wanted some files from our old shared computer, client templates she'd created for her business. I'd already wiped that hard drive and donated the computer months ago. The message concluded with, I know you hate me now, but what we had was beautiful. I hope someday you can remember the good times without all this anger. I asked our friend to tell her, I don't hate you. I'm grateful to you for showing me what I don't want in a life partner. The good times taught me what to look for, and the bad times taught me what to avoid. Both lessons were valuable. Some people in our old circle still think I overreacted, that I should have been more patient with Maya's journey of self-discovery. But here's the thing. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. Don't wait around hoping they'll change their mind about your worth. Life is too short to be anyone's backup plan. Sometimes the kindest thing you can do for yourself is to walk away and build something better. If Maya hadn't shown her true colors, I'd still be in a mediocre relationship in a city I'd outgrown, working a job that didn't challenge me, planning a wedding with someone who saw me as her consolation prize. Instead, I'm building an incredible life on my own terms. The chapter with Maya is officially closed, and I couldn't be more excited about what comes next. Seattle has already exceeded my wildest expectations, and I have a feeling this is just the beginning. To anyone going through something similar, trust yourself, Know your worth, and don't be afraid to start over. Sometimes the best revenge isn't getting even, it's getting better. And that's exactly what I did.